What is going on, guys? So I recently just finished Daredevil Born Again, and I thought I'd give my brief opinions on it. So Daredevil Born Again came out again. I'll just say this: I do not know anything about the discourse behind the making of this TV show. From what I understand, very loosely, there was a writing team that was working on the show, and I believe it was producer Kevin Feige did not really agree with the direction they were going, and so he fired them, had to keep what was left over, and then got new writers to fill in the gaps, essentially. I believe that is the case. I believe that's what happened. So, that being said, how is the show proper? And I'll say this: I am I'm relatively mixed on the show. I like things about it. I don't think it is the second coming of Jesus, like a lot of people think when it comes to the MCU TV shows or anything like that. I think it's a decent show. I think it's good. A lot of people, and I think this is the consensus across the board, it's not as good as the Netflix show. It's not as good as the Netflix series, which, it's a hard thing to follow up. It's on Disney Plus now. It's all by Disney, so it's going to be different. It's going to be a different tone. It tries to maintain some of the things that were great about the Daredevil Netflix show, but obviously carries over and does different things. The tone is slightly different. Things I'm mixed on, pretty much writing out Foggy and Karen pretty much right from the get-go was kind of a head scratcher for me. That was kind of jarring. I mean, it makes way for new characters, but the new characters don't really fill in the same gaps that those characters left behind, because those characters were really good as holdovers from the original show. Episode 1 I thought was really good. I mean, the fight scene between Daredevil and Bullseye was really good. I really enjoyed that. That was really exciting. I like how at the end of the fight, Daredevil just pushes Bullseye off the cliff. Now, I'll just go into saying that I thought some things I was kind of hit or miss on. I don't really know how to feel about it. The whole White Tiger, Hector Ayala thing, the trial of White Tiger, that story arc, I don't know. It is what it is. I don't really have anything positive or negative to say about it. I like that they're trying to expand the street level heroes mythos. Like, the whole world of Daredevil, I guess, is kind of taking on its own form. It's part of the MCU, but it is kind of going in its own direction. It's kind of expanding in its own way, which to me makes me kind of think, with the White Tiger thing, setting up White Tiger and other superheroes that are coming along the way, like the Punisher still being involved in Daredevil's life, that they're kind of setting up Shadowland. I'm not really sure if you guys aren't unfamiliar with Shadowland. Shadowland is a storyline from the Marvel Comics where Daredevil basically becomes the leader of the Hand. Now, I could be wrong. I don't remember what happens to the Hand at the end of season 2 of the Netflix Daredevil show. I don't know if it was destroyed or it got disbanded. I should look that up before I started this video, but I didn't really think to do so. But yeah, so I'm wondering if they're kind of setting up that Daredevil is going to be becoming the leader of the Hand, because he said he needs an army to take out Fisk at the end of the season finale, which just dropped. And that was the first thing I thought of, was like, oh, he needs an army, so he's probably going to go get a literal army. But that could just be him talking about the New Yorkers, starting an army with New Yorkers, or getting an army of vigilantes together, like White Tiger, the new White Tiger, or Punisher, or getting the Defenders back together, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and all those other guys, like, that could be introduced. There could be new guys like Black Tarantula, who was from Shadowland. So I'd be interested to see how that goes, or where that goes, in what direction that decides to take. Season 2, I'm looking forward to probably more than anything, because season 1 had a really decent finale in the way that, I wasn't really excited about like anything in particular that happened in episode 9, that I am excited because it left me wanting more. Like, at the end of the episode, I kind of like booed the screen because I was like, damn you, I want more. I want to see more of this. I was expecting more. Now, that could also double as a criticism, because I was like, man, I really wanted there to be more, of something happening in this episode. like the Punisher finally shows up and actually plays a role in the finale, but I kind of feel like it was like too little too late. Like, damn, we're really waited this long to get to the Punisher. And I'm a lifelong Punisher fan, so I was really looking forward to the Punisher's role in this season, and he cameoed really early on, didn't appear again until the finale, and then did a few things in the finale. Had like 2 action scenes in the finale, which is kind of like whatever. I do like how at the end of the episode and after the credits, he does kind of like start making his escape. So we know things are going to really like kick into high gear whenever season 2 comes around. I don't know when that is. I'm not sure if they've I know they've greenlit it. I know they already started filming. I don't know when the release date is. Probably sometime next year, 2027. But I'm looking forward to it. Getting into some of the other things that I was kind of like mixed on, but I also have like my own positives and negatives about. I think everybody can pretty much agree the whole Muse story arc was just not handled the best. You can say whatever you will about how great the performances are in the show. Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio stealing the show and every scene he's in, really, really doing a good job as they're in their respective roles. But I think everyone that I've seen, the discourse has been that a lot of people are just like, yeah, the Muse story arc was rushed. It didn't really go anywhere. It didn't really develop anything. I think the only thing you could say it really added to the plot was it brought Daredevil back to the story, because at the beginning of the story, they do that thing. I hate this whenever they do this. It's really a trope I don't like, where at the beginning of the story, the hero gives up being the hero and then kind of goes and does their own thing, and then eventually some point in the story they have to go back to being the hero. Muse's involvement in the story is what brings Matt Murdock back to being Daredevil, which is cool. It's fine. But you could also say the other thing it adds to the story is that it causes the rift between Matt's girlfriend, Dr. Heather, or whatever her name is, Dr. something. I just know her as Heather. And Matt. It causes a rift between them because there's a lot. Matt has to deal with a lot. His identity is kind of not necessarily out in the same way Spider-Man's was in No Way Home, but it is out in a way that basically makes it to where Matt Murdock cannot operate as Matt Murdock. He has to stay as Daredevil because the Kingpin knows his identity. Kingpin has been aware of his identity since season 3 of the Netflix Daredevil show. The Muse thing, not handled very well. It was a really cool idea. I really liked the idea of the character and what it could, contribute to the MCU. But really just kind of like started, stopped, had so much buildup too, and then just kind of like amounted to nothing. Which is fascinating to see. I wonder if that was like a holdover from the previous writers, and then the new writers not really knowing where to take the story, so they had to like wrap it up once it got to a certain point. I'm not really sure what the writing process was like with that story arc in particular, but I just found it very fascinating. Now, things that I really did like, obviously I've mentioned this already, the acting is great. Vincent D'Onofrio kills it as Kingpin every single time. I really enjoy the story arcs that are going on with Kingpin because I feel like they happen in such a naturally progressive way. He is slowly growing his influence within New York as the new mayor, and he is becoming slowly and surely much more powerful and is flexing that power as he goes on. So that was really interesting to see. That was really cool. I do like that at the end. I do like that in the finale, Karen actually does come back, and that was a really pleasant surprise because I love Karen. Karen was one of the best characters from the original series. Of course, like I said already, I'm a lifelong Punisher fan, so getting to see the Punisher actually come into action was amazing. Love getting to see him in action. Love getting to see him do what he does. I was a little iffy on whatever his plan was whenever he went into the compound with the task force, when he went into Red Hook where the task force was, and he killed a bunch of guys. Kind of like just did a frontal assault, but without really like much of an assault. Killed a few people and got captured, and I was kind of like, that's weird. I don't know why Frank would do that, why he would just get caught, or why he would just go into that situation like that knowing he was going to get fucked up, or knowing not knowing whether he's going to get fucked up or not, because the Punisher is usually a lot more calculating than that. And then I was like, well, maybe he did it on purpose, because he starts working on his escape plan once he gets captured. So I was like, maybe he did it on purpose. Maybe he's working at like some kind of different angle. He's trying to like, he worked his way on the inside. Now he's trying to take the operation down from the inside out. So Daredevil Born Again, overall thoughts, pretty decent. Would recommend. Pretty decent. Would recommend. Definitely check it out when you get a second. Yeah, that's about it. See ya.